What is up, everybody? Noble Comics here, and if you've been on my channel for a little bit, then you know that I am a fan of Goku, and that the Goku versus Superman fight is something that I've talked about a few times, but I have been thinking about the character in general, and I'm trying to think, like, am I legitimately biased against Superman, or am I legitimately biased in favor of Goku? So I was trying to think of, well, who do I think could potentially beat Goku in a fight? So that's what I've done today, is I've got a list of characters here who could potentially beat Goku, and I'll kind of explain through how the fight would work and why I think that. So let's go ahead and just get into it. But let's be clear whenever we're talking about Goku. So I'm obviously talking about the Dragon Ball Super version, and to just go into a little bit more detail on that, at the end of Dragon Ball Z, Goku's most powerful form was Super Saiyan 3. And with Super Saiyan 3, he was able to defeat a galactic level threat in the way of Buu. Start of Dragon Ball Super, whenever Beerus shows up, Beerus like one-shots Super Saiyan 3. He's obviously nowhere near that power level, but then after he gets access to his God Ki, he gets a massive power boost, Goku does. And then at that point, Goku's base form, every single form he had, especially his base form, has a massive power boost. So in Dragon Ball Super, Goku's base form is more powerful than his previous Super Saiyan 3. So we know at base, he's at least a galaxy level threat. Then of course he's been getting more powerful as time goes on. He has the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan mode that he can do, Kaioken and all sorts of things. He has plenty of energy attacks, he's super fast, he is a martial arts master. And of course his most powerful form is going to be Ultra Instinct, which he got sort of towards the end of Dragon Ball Super. At this point in Goku's life, I think it is not unfair to say that he is a universal level threat, as it was said during his fight with Beerus, and again, this is all the way back when he first got his powers, that the impact of their battle was felt throughout the universe. So he's obviously very, very powerful. But let's see who could potentially beat him. And just for fair warning, the list here is mostly comic book characters, right, to kind of match the Goku versus Superman debate. And I'm going to start with Marvel, then I'll go over to DC. And from the offset, we know that there are characters in both of these universes that are just way too powerful. Stuff like the Living Tribunal, Eternity, Infinity, we've got the Fulcrum. Anything like that who's like a part of the universe, essentially, these extreme omnipotent characters, like that's just so far above everything else, right, that there's nothing really that can beat them, period. So they are obviously winners, but that's not really a real fight because, again, they're just so far up there, they're not even really meant to be like versus battle type characters. But getting into more realistic ones, right? The first one I have on the list here is Silver Surfer. I think that he does have potential to pose a threat to someone like Goku. The reasons being, even though he is sort of a pacifist and he doesn't like to fight very much, he is extremely powerful because he's the Herald of Galactus, meaning he has a tiny portion of the power cosmic within him. And this allows him to do numerous things, right? Obviously makes him stronger, faster, more durable. But the big thing is he can do matter transmutation, and he can do different types of energy absorption, and he has cosmic awareness. So he just sort of knows things, right? Sort of like a form of omnipotence. As far as power scaling goes to the Marvel Universe, he's typically shown to be slightly above characters like the Hulk and Thor and things like that at his base level. So we know that he's at least powerful enough to go toe-to-toe with someone like Goku. But we know he's extremely fast, extremely durable, able to take hits from some of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. He's got different sort of laser blasts that do insane damage. But I think the main thing here would be power absorption. If he can absorb the energy coming from Goku and essentially no-sell all of his attacks, then I think that gives him a huge advantage, obviously, right? I don't know for sure that he would win, but I think it's definitely potential. A version of Silver Surfer that I think absolutely would win, though, would be the Fallen One Silver Surfer. And this is from that Thanos wins storyline where Thanos essentially defeats every single hero and entity in the Marvel Universe and becomes insanely powerful. And the person who comes to defeat him is the Fallen One Silver Surfer, who does not have the power cosmic anymore because Galactus is dead, but he is powered by dark energy, which seems to be even more powerful, and he also has Thor's hammer. He became worthy. So all that put together, he was able to defeat. Essentially, he was able to defeat Thanos. There's a little bit more going on in the background. So that version is even more powerful, and I think definitely stands a chance of beating Goku. The next one I have here from Marvel is going to be Thanos. There's a few different ways we can look at this. Base Thanos is extremely powerful. I think that Thanos has so many amps that he uses throughout the comics and the movie, I guess, that we tend to downplay base Thanos, but base Thanos is extremely powerful. He is far above people like Hulk, Thor, even Silver Surfer. He's in what they would call the Sky Father category of strength, so he's extremely powerful. He's able to fight people like Ego the Living Planet, who's extremely powerful, and he's also able to do things like fight all of the Avengers, fight pretty much all of the heroes of Earth at the same time, and usually does pretty good, if not win. He, in his base form, has taken full power hits from Thor when Thor had the Power Stone from the Infinity Gauntlet, which is insane. Most of his hits or lasers, etc. can just one-shot a typical Earth hero. It's really not a big deal to him because he is that powerful. And he was able to tank a Scream from Black Bolt. And depending on the writer, this can be, varying levels of awesome. But Black Bolt, during the Planet Hulk storyline, with a whisper, was able to almost destroy the Hulk, but the reason it didn't is because Hulk was in a more powerful amped form following his Planet Hulk adventure over there. So a whisper should have been able to take out the Hulk, and he was screaming point blank into Thanos' face, and it just gave him a nosebleed. He really is on another level of power. Now, I do think that Goku probably still does have the speed advantage, right? And we have seen speed be a problem for Thanos before, like whenever he lost to the Runner, who is sort of like an eternal, immortal being. He's probably a little bit more powerful, but still, speed definitely was his downfall there. So that is potentially a problem. But of course, as soon as you give Thanos any of his amps, whether that's a Cosmic Cube, Infinity Gauntlet, Heart of the Universe, anything like that, it's immediately over. Of course, Goku cannot beat anything to that level because it's like pure reality warping. There's nothing you can really do to that. You can't really fight against that. It's just over. Another one here, we talked about Silver Surfer. Let's talk about his boss, Galactus. Now, Silver Surfer was so powerful because I said he had just a tiny percent of the power cosmic. Well, Galactus has all of it. Galactus is one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel Universe. He's the devourer of planets. He is this, like, nigh omnipotent being within, like, the Marvel Universal structure. And any fight that guy has risks destroying the universe/multiverse every time he gets into a fight. Galactus is above people like Thanos. He's typically shown to be on the same scale as Odin, but he has overpowered Odin in the past. Like Silver Surfer, he can absorb energy, which is how he devours these planets. He has extremely powerful blasts that could pretty much one-shot any hero that you can think of in the Marvel Universe. He can transmute matter as well, just wiping things out of existence. Galactus is just on another level of power, above even what Goku can reach. Just a couple more from Marvel. We'll move on to Thor. Now, base Thor, I don't know if he could beat Goku, but I definitely think that he is no slouch. When it comes to speed, he's definitely not the fastest. Goku would have an advantage there. Strength-wise, obviously Thor has the advantage. Durability, I think that they're probably pretty equal. But where Thor really thrives, I think, is, one, endurance. The dude can fight for like 100 years at a time. And power output. Now, Goku usually wins with the power output category, and he still might win here, but Thor is no slouch. Like we saw just regular base Thor from, say, the Gore the God Butcher storyline. When he's fighting against this extremely powerful being, their fight is so intense that nearby planets are being destroyed just from the shockwaves of their battle. At one point, Thor gets a hold of 2 Mjolnirs and he cracks them together to make a massive shockwave, and that destroys multiple planets at a time. Like, during their fight, it's just prevalent how powerful these two people are and how planetary destruction is really nothing for a person like Thor, who is, of course, a god. And if he were to use his most powerful attack, the God Blast, I don't think that would one-shot Goku, but I think it would be extremely damaging if he was able to land it. And of course, there are amped versions of Thor that I think would have the upper hand. Rune King Thor is like extremely powerful. Odin Force Thor would be extremely powerful. I think Goku would struggle very heavily against these people. So Thor definitely has a chance. I don't know if his base version would win, but there's definitely versions of Thor out there that would. And lastly, from Marvel, I have Doctor Strange here. And magic is sort of a weird thing, both in the Marvel Universe and in the Dragon Ball universe. There are very powerful magic beings in Dragon Ball, like Moro, for example, who can give Goku and the Z-Fighters like real trouble. Magic, I don't think, is thoroughly explained there, but we see magic all the time in something like the Marvel Universe, and the most powerful, or one of the most powerful of the magic users, is of course Doctor Strange. He's been scaled back from different versions throughout his comic history, but with magic at that level, you can do pretty much anything, and it can be really hard to counter. I don't really have time to go through all of Doctor Strange, like all of his spells and everything that he can do, because again, it's pretty much limitless. But the main thing is here is that Doctor Strange wouldn't really have to fight. He could just deploy some sort of magical spell or something that would subdue Goku or just warp reality in some way that Goku loses. I mean, with magic, it's really difficult to grasp how Goku could potentially win other than just like speed blitzing and punching the guy in the face, which I guess is a possibility. Moving on to some DC characters who could potentially beat Goku. I want to start with, of course, we're all thinking Superman. Now, you know me, I don't think base Superman beats Goku, but there are definitely, and this is brought up in the comments all the time, there are definitely versions of Superman that can beat Goku. For example, if you had like Superman Prime, the Golden Superman version, he could beat Goku no problem. With the Thoughtbot, Superman could beat him. Quantum Superman could beat him. There are definitely versions out there. And if you want to take the super amped current version of Superman, kind of like against the World Forger, if you want to take that version, he probably beats Goku too. But base Superman does not. Another character would be Martian Manhunter. Now, Manhunter is considered one of the most powerful members of the Justice League. Superman remarks that he's the most dangerous person on the planet. He is extremely powerful. He does have, of course, like flight, super strength, super speed, stuff like that. But he can also shapeshift. He also has extremely powerful telepathic abilities. And he's definitely no slouch. He's drawn blood from Superman before. He's definitely Superman's equal when it comes to fighting prowess. And so I do think that he would be able to go toe-to-toe with Goku. I don't know if he would win. I think durability-wise, due to his shape-shifting and just the fact that he's extremely powerful, he has a good advantage there. But I don't know if he has enough power to put Goku down. But again, we also have different things like mental attacks that he could be doing at the same time. And I think that that could come into play to give him some sort of advantage to maybe eke out a victory. We have seen some pretty insane things from Martian Manhunter when it comes to mental manipulation. So I do think that that is a chance. The next thing I have on here is the White Lantern. It could be anybody who's using it, maybe Kyle Rayner, Hal Jordan, anybody like that. But the White Lantern ring is the most powerful of all the Lantern Corps. It can do anything that a regular ring can do, right? Energy constructs, we can do different sorts of phasing, invisibility, flight, force fields, things like that. But it also is powered by pure life energy. And it can bring things back to life if they die. And it can also create, wormholes and things like that. A regular Green Lantern is nothing to scoff at already. The White Lantern is just way more powerful than that. The next one I have here is Despero. And this is a character who we don't see a ton of in DC, but at a time he was an extreme threat. So Despero essentially is a Justice League level threat. He was able to, on multiple occasions, fight and defeat the Justice League members. That's Flash, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, all losing to this guy. He's an extremely powerful alien, and his thing is that he pretty much travels different places in order to kick ass, which he is very good at. He also has insane levels of telepathy and different telepathic abilities, able to even overpower and defeat Martian Manhunter. So if we thought Martian Manhunter had a chance, Despero definitely has a chance. He's able to, of course, tank hits from people like Superman, defeat people like Superman, again, Wonder Woman, The Flash, etc. Despero is definitely one of the more powerful villains that the Justice League has faced, and I think that he could stand a chance against someone like Goku. Two more from DC. I also have Dr. Fate. Same thing as what I had with Doctor Strange. Dr. Fate is the most powerful magic user here, Magic is sort of this nebulous, nigh all-powerful thing where you can seal someone away or wipe them from existence or this, that, or the other. And having specific counters to magic is difficult, especially for someone from Dragon Ball, who again, magic is kind of few and far between, it's not super well defined, and the counters to it are not super well defined. So Dr. Fate probably could beat Goku, but it probably wouldn't be like a combat win. It'd probably just be removing him from the battlefield or sealing him away or wiping him from existence, something like that. Lastly, from DC, I have Superboy Prime. Now, Superboy Prime was an absolute menace of a character. This guy was able to fight like the entire DC universe at once. He had this awesome Anti-Monitor armor. Speaking of, he was able to tank a hit from the Anti-Monitor, who's like a multiversal level being. But he's able to fight pretty much everybody at once. He defeated like 30 Green Lanterns at one time. He's able to fight and defeat Sodom Yat, who was a Green Lantern who was channeling Ion, who was the sort of emotional avatar for the entire Green Lantern Corps. Essentially just made him way more powerful. He's able to beat him. Obviously able to defeat Superman easily. He's one-shotting people like Supergirl. This guy was insanely powerful, tanking hits from everybody, kicking everybody's ass. I think that there's a strong chance that he could beat Goku. His durability, strength, power output, off the charts. Speed-wise, he's able to fight 3 flashes at once and defeat all of them. He is insane. This guy definitely has a shot. I think he could probably beat Goku. That's all I had from comic books. Moving over to anime, I've only got one. And I know I made a video on this before, and I stand by what I said. But from anime, the only character who could potentially beat Goku, who's not like a Dragon Ball Z character, because there will always be stronger bosses, right? Is, of course, Saitama, One Punch Man. And I don't think we've seen anything from Saitama yet. We've obviously seen him fight Cosmic Garo, and that's like at least Galaxy level where we're up right now. But again, Goku's base level is like Galaxy Plus. I believe that One Punch Man will eventually get powerful enough, if the manga goes on long enough, that he will surpass Goku. But it's not there yet. But there is a chance. That's why I want to include him on the list, because there is definitely a chance that he will be. And with that, that is my list. Those are characters that I think could potentially beat Goku in a fight. Of course, Goku still, over pretty much everybody that I've listed here, has major advantages, usually combat speed, martial arts ability, right? But the overall power output from some of these characters, and of course, if they have special amps or abilities, can put them over the edge, could give them a victory against Goku. But this is my list. Let me know what you guys think. Is there anyone on here you think is totally out of line? Is there anyone on here that I didn't include that you think could beat Goku? Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.